Hey, Pest, what are your top 3 best / worst changes to Tarkov?
Top 3 best worst changes to Tarkov?
Yo, Jan, what are the top 3 worst / best changes to Tarkov?
Best / worst changes to Tarkov.
Friendly, what are the top 3 worst / best changes to Tarkov?
What is your top 3 worst best changes to Tarkov?
What's good, everybody? Today we have something super special lined up. We've gathered insights from some of the top Tarkov streamers on some of the best and worst changes that have happened to Tarkov since its release. So let's dive right into some of the changes that have shaped our Tarkov experience. And stick around, because each of these streamers is going to be giving their individual take on how these changes shape the game. With that being said, let's get straight into the video. Okay, first up is going to be lasers. Lasers used to actually give you accuracy, as seen right here. I think this was a bug demonstration, but lasers used to be way better. You used to be able to actually see your laser. Lasers actually gave you a little bit of accuracy. I mean, as you can see right here. This is a video about a bug, but lasers. Next one is going to be no inertia. This is 5 years ago. This is a 8.9 million ruble raid that Landmark has up on his YouTube. But yeah, no inertia versus inertia. That's another major change. I mean, as you can see, the way he's speaking is crazy. Next change is going to be recoil. This is from about 3 years ago. This is a video demonstrating how bad the recoil used to be. I actually kind of liked it. Your shots would tend to kick up to their face a little bit more. But yeah, this is an example of how it kind of used to look. So recoil is one. Alright, and next up is the new mechanics for weight system and fatigue. This was added, I think this is 5 years ago, right around the beginning of the release, but the weight system did get implemented into the game, as well as fatigue. Again, I did not play this game 5 years ago, so I don't know anything about the stuff, but I'm sure y'all OG players do remember playing without inertia and fatigue, but that has also been added into the game, so that is another major change. Another major change that I would consider is scavs. Scavs were actually changed. I'm not sure y'all remember, but like a wipe ago, scavs were super broken. Scavs have always kind of been very broken. I would consider scav changes as minor changes, but they do majorly play and impact your game. So scav changes, I think, is on the list as like a contender for a major change, because it doesn't really matter. Now, this is another controversial one. A lot of people like the new armor system. A lot of people don't like the new armor system, but they did rework armor. I was actually playing the game before they reworked armor, so I do kind of understand, and I could give my take on this, but I'm gonna let y'all get y'all's takes from the streamers. Yeah, the armor change was a super crazy system overhaul. They completely made it stupid complex compared to how it was back then, and I do consider this being a very, very major change in the game. Another major change not a lot of people think about is Arena. So Tarkov Arena was not actually released. I think it was a standalone game maybe before Tarkov. I'm not really sure how all that works. I don't know if that game came out before Tarkov, then they scrapped the idea and then they brought it back. Not too sure, but Tarkov Arena has kind of changed the overall playstyle of players, as you can basically take in the best guns, best gear. You don't have to worry about dying. So with that being said, I think that Tarkov Arena is a major change. It's not a physical change to Tarkov, but with the implement of Arena, it changes how players play in Tarkov, because they get used to playing super close quarters, or they get used to all these good guns, they get used to the good ammo, they get used to the good armor, and then that's what they want to rock and raid. So I think that Arena is definitely a major change for Tarkov. Not a physical game change, because it doesn't physically change Tarkov, but it changes how Tarkov is played to an extent. Yeah, to an extent. So that's a major change. Next up is going to be audio. This is probably one of the most complained about things in this game, besides cheaters, is the audio. Audio in video games is very, very scuffed, but in a game like Tarkov, audio means everything. So, yeah, Tarkov audio, them switching from the Steam to the Oculus audio engine. I think NoGenerals is actually talking about that. I did not know about that. But I think they did change the actual like base sound engine for Tarkov. So yeah, I would consider the audio change as a major change to the game. The next major change to the game is how cheaters are dealt with. There has been a lot of things implemented into the game that have kind of scuffed everybody else, just because we do have a streamer talking about this a little bit later in the video. But RMT. So they have put restrictions on dropping things in raid, such as bitcoins or injectors cases or docs cases or thick items cases. Can't bring any of this stuff into the game anymore and drop it. So what actually ends up happening is the entire cheater community just stops doing that, and they just start killing more people, which again, BlueBerryGabi gave a really good point. Again, I didn't think about this at all, but they literally switched to RMTing and dropping loot to having to go into the raid to kill everything so that they can ensure that whoever's buying their gear is getting out the raid safe. So it goes from closet cheating to full blatant cheating so that they can actually make money. So yeah, cheating is definitely a major update in Tarkov for sure.
Hey, Pest, what are your top 3 best / worst changes to Tarkov? I think one of the best things they added was Prestige. I actually think about that now. Like, there's no way I would have played this wipe without Prestige. And even then, I still didn't play a lot, but at least it made me play more. And I think if that was around a long time ago, I think it would have been really nice to have in wipes. They did better with it than I thought they would. They fucked it still. They fucked it still. Like, when you Prestige, right? This whole... I don't know where it says, but you know how it says, like, keep 5% of your skill points? Yeah, they fucked that. And I tried to explain it to them, but they don't understand. I think Inertia was needed, but I think it's still not in a good spot. So I think that was a bad change. After watching my year 1 highlight video of streaming, I miss maps having good loot. Like I miss going into Shoreline and being excited that there's so many rooms to open that have good loot. Yes, I do think about that. And it doesn't help that scavs pick up the loot now out of containers. That actually really annoys me.
He said, yo, Jan, what are the top 3 worst / best changes to Tarkov? Ooh. You put some answers in the chat. I'll let chat answer this question as well. The worst changes? Okay, I'll do the worst first. Worst was audio change. They swapped it from Steam Audio. The plate system. And then the last one, there's been so many bad changes. It's hard to even pick one. Fuck, there's been a lot. There's been a lot. God damn. I think the loot changes. So I said the loot change, the audio change when they went from Steam Audio to the Oculus Audio, whatever the fuck. And then the plate. Them adding plates to it again. Now the best changes. I say Recoil. Recoil was a good change. I don't know if it was the best though. Oh, I sound like a fucking hater right now. I'm struggling to think of the best changes they added. Because if I really think about it, the best changes were the ones where they changed something else from the worst change. So like the worst change would be audio, but audio was so bad back then that I can say the best change now is audio. Because it's better than what it used to be. Not better than before they switched it initially, but you know what I'm saying? That's fucking tough, man. I might just be a hater though. I can't think of 3 best changes they added to this game. Oh, actually, that's a good fucking shout, man. The throat hitbox. Didn't they revert that though? So the worst change would be the throat hitbox, and the best change was them removing. Yeah, this game fucking, God, it's something. The hit rate back then was still kind of dicey, but it was a lot more consistent than what it was now. And who would have guessed making it more complicated made it worse?
Top 3 best worst changes to Tarkov. Worst changes being inertia, weight, and the recoil changes. Best changes probably. I don't even know if it's best changes. The game was better like 4 years ago.
Best /worst changes to Tarkov. Alright, well, I'll start with the best. Okay, now we're gonna go to the worst. Okay, I'm sorry. Let me think, man. I gotta think really hard. Give me a sec. Okay, first, all the quality of life changes. Really good. Second, I would like to say VoIP is really good change. People don't use VoIP anymore, so not really. It's a good introduction, but didn't last very well. So I don't think I'll include VoIP. I think the first is definitely quality of life changes are a positive. And two more things. Recoil changes. Yeah, they made recoil in the game a lot more fun now. It's not the same as it used to be by any means. It used to be way better. But I think where recoil is at currently is good. And then honest to God, bro, the last thing, I don't even know. Maybe the armor changes. I think those are my top 3 positive changes for the game. They made armor better. Now armor's actually decent. They made guns have good recoil, so that's fun. And I think the quality of life changes are all 3 best changes this game's had. And then the 3 worst, bro, holy fuck. Yeah, there's a lot more negative than positive, sadly, with this game, bro. Actually, no, I take back what I said. Instead of the armor changes, the global limits on traders was a really good change. I don't know if you could include that with, like, quality of life changes, but I would say the armor, the global limit change on flea market was actually a game changer. Not being limited to the global limits of the traders is really good. That was in the game for a very long time, and it was disgusting to deal with, especially as a new player. But yeah, that's it for top 3. I mean, like I said, bro, it's really hard for me to find 3 positive things that have happened over the years with this game. Like, there is small things that have changed, and it's like, you know, that's a nice little update. But that's a really hard one, bro. It's Tarkov, man. Tarkov. This game is mostly negative. The changes that they add. It's all perspective, though, bro. Some people think Tarkov's like the best game in the world. And then once they get a few thousand hours, they start to understand a bit more. The game, I think Tarkov's biggest flaw overall is just the idea of getting Tarkov has clouded the game's enjoyment for a lot of people. Because the devs are addicted to making the game hard rather than fun. That's why I say there's more negative changes than positive.
Yes, overall, the way Inertia was implemented was fucking terrible. It still was very bad. In some ways, it's still bad. They've reduced it, but it needs to reduce more. The anti-cheat, changing the game to try to prevent cheaters from RMTing has made it to where there's a lot more cheaters killing versus just picking up loot. I think they should remove the restrictions of what you can bring back in raid. I don't give a shit if somewhere on Night Factory there's a cheater giving a guy a raid bag full of bitcoins. I don't care. What I do care is when every single fucking raid I go to labs, I die to a cheater. I miss when cheating was more of a quiet thing that didn't really affect your game, you know? Like, maybe sometimes you wouldn't find as good of loot, but generally the loot was better. I like the idea of PvE. I understand a lot of people enjoy it, and it makes them happy. But I think overall, I don't know, it makes the live servers kind of dead. But I understand, like, it's one of those things where I understand why it's a good thing for some people. It's just personally shit for me.
Friendly, what are the top 3 worst / best changes to Tarkov? Best changes, VoIP, number 1. Worst change? I don't know. I don't know. We haven't a good think about it. I don't know.
Inertia sucks. The armor sucks. Armor changes suck. Yeah, I don't know. You gotta give me a second to think about the third one. Where are you at?
What was your top 3 worst best changes to Tarkov? They added flea market for the worst. They overbuffed the armor. They made the armor system really bad in the last 2 wipes. It's too strong. A lot of shitty guns are very, very shitty and almost unusable now. Inertia's a great thing to the game. Needed. Oh, I'll say also the bad thing is the kick limit for Tarkov. You can play 220 ping on Tarkov, which is fucking stupid. All right, 3 good things now, though. Inertia's great. Inertia was needed. I'm sorry, boys. You weren't as good as you thought you were. I like Labyrinth a lot. That was pretty cool. Yeah, VoIP. Yeah. VoIP was pretty good. Today's not the day to ask me questions, bro. I'm so fucking fried. Like I was thinking so hard.
And that wraps it up for today's breakdown on the best and worst changes in Tarkov. Thank you for taking the time to respond to that comment, as I can make a little video out of it. Whether you agreed or disagreed, let me know what you think is the most game-changing update that has come to Tarkov down in the comments. And as always, if you enjoyed the video, go ahead and hit that like button. And if you're new around here and you like Tarkov content, you want to see more content like this, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, because we are going to be dropping a bunch more videos like this. Until next time, boys, stay safe and raid, and I'll be seeing you later.